Hey guys, it's Rachel from Moments to Milestones, and I'm here today to put together our newest paper pad card kit. We use the Fall Fever 6x6 Mega Pad by Echo Park to create these cards. And so if you purchase a kit, these are the cards that you'll be making. And you'll get the remainder of the paper pad with that kit. And there are written instructions with pictures of the finished cards to help you along. And I always include in the back the supplies I use to create the kits. So we will get started with this one here, Fall Blessings. And grab my kit. Little pieces in there. And so our first step will be, we're going to go ahead and color up all these die cuts. So we die cut them out of white. And then we're going to color them the way we want them. So you have a little bit of freedom here. If you don't like maybe the colors I used, you could change them up. So we will start with, let's start with this big green piece here. And so I think actually before I get started here, I'm going to show you the distress inks that I used, so that you could have those out and at the ready. So for the browns, I used, and these are all oxide inks that I used today. You could certainly use regular distress if that's what you have, or any coordinating inks that you have at your disposal. So I used Distress Oxide again, Walnut Stain and Gathered Twigs for my browns. I used Fossilized Amber and a little bit of Antique Linen for my yellows. Greens, we have Peeled Paint and Rustic Wilderness. And finally, we have some red and orange colors. We used Aged Mahogany and Rusty Hinge. So if you have those colors, might be good to get those out and ready to go, because that's what we used. So I'm going to go ahead and jump in with the greenery here. I just have a little dry erase board I'm going to ink on to keep my surface clean. And I am going to use the peeled paint. And I have a little dauber. And I'm just going to put the color down. And then I also just took a little touch of the Rustic Wilderness, and I just kind of went over the kind of the centers just lightly. That's what's nice about the oxides, they really blend nice. It doesn't take much. Okay, and then actually I forgot, I think there's one lone piece here that we need to do. So I'm gonna get my peeled paint back out. Do that. All right, so those are done. And then let me find my water. Just spray that, clean it up. All right, so now let's do our sunflowers. So you should have two pieces, two larger pieces, and then three tiny little white pieces, little white daisy looking flowers. So one suggestion I would have, so for these small pieces, if you have some washi tape or post-it tape, you could get that out, and then you could put those pieces on there and it'll make it so they don't move around when you're trying to ink them. So I'm probably going to use that technique on these little pieces in their flower centers when we get there. So I'm just going to have that out and ready to go. But I'm going to start, I'm just going to use the Fossilized Amber on these. Yeah. All right, so those are done. Oh, one more thing with this yellow while we have it out. Your Fall Blessings die cut, we're going to ink that one as well. So you're going to want to be gentle here because this is a fragile die cut. So you're going to just lightly pounce. I'm not really pressing hard. So Obviously you could use colored cardstock to, then you could avoid this. I kind of liked the look of it. Or maybe you don't have a cardstock, you can't find a cardstock that matches, so we can go shop your ink collection and see what you've got there. So our remaining pieces are going to be all the flower centers. So I am on these little tiny flower centers. I'm going to use that little washi tape trick. And let's see. I'm also going to need my poker to get some of those pieces out. The acorn top. All right, so we use walnut stain and gathered twigs. So the gathered twigs is the lighter color of the two. So I'm gonna do the full, the solid acorn in that color. And then I'm gonna do the solid part of the flower center also in that color. Okay, and then with the darker color, walnut stain, I am going to do the top of the flower center and the acorn. And the three centers. There we go. And then I'm also going to pick up my acorn and just add some dark to the bottom, just a little bit of, and get the top, the little top of the acorn. Okay. So now we have all of our pieces colored. Put them together and start building up our card. All right, so let's start with this piece here. We are going to glue this wood paper to our card base. Make sure it's opening the right way. Okay. And then the sunflower paper, I do have that popped up, so I'm going to get some foam and put on the back. All right, so I have all my backing pulled off, and I'm going to go ahead and just center that onto the card base, lay it down, and then we're going to build up our flowers and our greenery. So you have this piece here, and so you have a side, if you're looking at this way, you have the 2 leaves on the left and the 3 on the right. We are going to cut off this bottom leaf on the left, so I'm just going to snip them right off, and then that's going to go down there along with this other piece. And I'm also going to trim off those stems because we don't need those either. All right, and so that piece is going to go something like that. And we're going to have to pop up the pieces that are inside the frame since we popped up the frame. So if you didn't do that, this is not necessary. So I'm just going to kind of see where I want to put some. I need it there, right here, and maybe right inside there. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and put that one down. Let's see, I want to make sure all my leaves stay on the card. There we go. And then these pieces that are hanging onto the frame, I'm just going to put some wet glue behind. right, so that's on, and then we are going to layer up our flowers. So you have these two pieces here, and I'm going to take a piece of foam, put it on the back right inside that little spot. Oops, I see got one little piece that needs poked out. Okay. And so I think I've shown I use this flower quite a bit, but there is this solid portion, and it has 3 leaves with embossed, like cut lines or embossed lines there. And so you're going to place this piece so that those 3 petals fit inside that kind of upside down V. Okay, there's no perfect right or wrong. If you want to put it a different way, you can do that too, but that's how I put that together. And then that's going to go right on top. And then the centers. So you have the solid piece. So we'll do that first. And then the piece with the holes on it. And this circle kind of has a flat side to it. You can see it's right here. And so then you can kind of use that to line up the top. And then I'm going to put my blessings in here and kind of use that as a placeholder for what's going down here in the corner, so I don't cover it up. So right in there like so. And you don't have a dot on your eye, which is fine. Such a small die cut to keep track of when you're cutting multiple kits. So you could use a rhinestone, or you know, find another little circle. Probably even one of these things we've punched out here would make a great dot, or you can just leave it be like mine. So let's put our leaves on there, and I'm noticing now that this is, I think I cut the wrong leaf for the kits, but that's okay. Leaves come in all shapes and sizes. So I think I'm just going to do something like this instead. I'm going to layer up the acorn first. Use that as a kind of a guide for those leaves. Oh yeah, that's going to be fine. So I'm going to go ahead and lay those down. I'm happy with that. Put a little glue behind. Oh, of course, right on. Okay. And I'm going to pop up my acorn. I'm just going to put a little foam square on the back. Him there. And then you have these 3 flowers and flower centers left. So I'm going to put the flowers on first, and then I'm going to put the centers on top. Now for the centers. And all these flowers and leaves and centers are from the Spellbinders. They have various bloom sets. So I've kind of mixed and matched. And then these big leaves are actually their lemon zest leaves from the Lemon Zest collection. And then this is a Tim Holtz die, in case you wondered. All right, so we need to put down our sentiment, and then we're done with this card. And there's the fall. So one thing I did notice on this card is that on this sample, I put 2 of the sunflowers down here and 1 of them up with that grouping. Obviously, I can't remove those. I used wet adhesive, but if you would rather, that is how the sample looks. But either way is fine, I think. So that card is completed. For our next card, Fall Sweet Fall. So this one's going to look much the same, where we need to color our images. So that's where we're gonna start. So I'm gonna leave all this, and you have a little bag of goodies, lots of goodies, so be careful when you spill them out. Lots of little bits in there. Got little bitty flower centers and pumpkin stems, so you wanna be careful. So you should have some pumpkins, some leaves and stems. So I'm gonna so you'll have this one big stem, and then there should be 4 small leaves that go with that. These little hook things are your pumpkin stems. There's a very tiny one as well. There's probably a couple of those, I think. You have 2 larger leaves with stems, so the straight stem goes with that one, and this one goes with a maple looking leaf. And then you should have some flowers and some centers. So let's start with, we'll do these 2 leaves here. Actually, let's do anything we can do in brown. So we'll do the stems, this big branch. So I'm going to bring over this little white board again, color with, and we'll start with the dark brown. So I'm going to use the walnut stain again, and I'm going to do those branches. All right. And then I think I did the pumpkin stems that way too, but I'm going to use my little tape trick here on those. One more. All right, so those are on there. Now I can easily color them all at once. And let's move to orange. So I used Rusty Hinge, and so we need 1 large pumpkin, a small pumpkin, any one of these leaves. There's no right or wrong, so pick a small leaf, and I'll color those up. All right, so that's it for the orange. This is where I use the antique linen, so we're going to use that on 1 large pumpkin. All right. And let's see, let's do the green pumpkin next. And let's see, we have a medium green pumpkin and 1 of these leaves. And I'm going to use peeled paint for that. We'll do this big maple leaf, and then we have the 2 largest flowers and 1 more of these leaves. So that's going to be out of the aged mahogany. And let's see, we have left the yellow, so we're going to use the fossilized amber. You should have 1 small pumpkin, 1 small leaf, and a larger leaf. All right, there's those 3, and then so our final step is going to be all these flower centers and the small flowers. So I'm going to get out some more tape and put them on my little piece here. So I know I already did the antique linen, so I have to get that back out. And I think these little oval ones I did in yellow, but really you could do green, you could do whatever you want. So there's really no right or wrong, they all match. It's just how I did it. So I am going to start with gathered twigs on these 3 flowers on the end. So all right, those are good. And then we have the flower centers. I'm going to go ahead and do those in the fossilized amber. All right, and then finally other flower centers, which I think you actually only need 2, but I think it cuts 3 at a time, so I just put them in there. I'm going to do those in the antique linen. All right. Everything is colored and we're ready to, we'll assemble everything and then we'll put the card together. All right. Let's start with our pumpkins. So we'll put those in a line and then add their stems. There's really no, other than these larger pumpkins, they kind of have a bigger dip and it's more rounded at the bottom. Those are right side up. These other ones, there's really no right or wrong, so whatever works. And I'm gonna get my tweezers because these are itty bitty pieces. I'm gonna start with this orange one, so you just need a little bit on the bottom. And set that right on top. All right, so there are our pumpkins. And now let's put our leaves and flowers together. All right, so let's start with this big branch. So what we're gonna do is lay out those 4 little leaves. And I don't think there's a right or wrong. Now they have embossed lines on them and really I just tried to match them up. Like this is smaller, so I'm gonna use the smallest leaf on that one, but I don't really think you could get it wrong. Nothing in nature looks exactly the same, so just go for it. Put the branches on however you want. Okay. This one is the largest. I'm going to put this one on the orange. And then let's see. This one here looks good. Looks good. All right, so I'm going to let those dry just for a minute and then we'll cut them apart. And then we have 2 stems here. So the straight one goes on the yellow. Let's do this one right there. Actually, I wonder if I put the wrong, I did. So the straight one was supposed to go on the maple leaf. I looked at it and it still didn't occur to me. That's why it didn't match up. And this one's not matching up either, but nobody's gonna know. They're leaves. So don't do what I did. You can flip them around. Sorry about that. You guys can see the sample and you're probably thinking, what is she doing? Okay, so there's 2 centers. I'm gonna use these antique linen ones. All right, and then for these 3 little ones, I'm gonna put the yellows on. Tiniest amount of glue, that's all we need. Okay. And we'll put these on. One. All right. I'm just going to pitch that last center because we don't need it. All right, so now all of our pieces are together. So let's build up our card base and then we'll add all the goodies at the bottom. So we will start with this blue plaid. And we're just going to center that on our card base. All right, and then the green with the leaves is going to go right on the bottom of that. And then this Fall Sweet Fall is going to go on to the rectangle of brown. It's blue on one side, but I'm going to use the brown. I'll just get centered on there. Okay, and so what we're going to do here is this is going to go up here in the, so you can glue this to the back and then pop all of it up, or you can use this piece as a guide to lay this down and then pop this up, which is what I did. But there's really no right or wrong. So right there, I'm going to tuck it in behind where I want it. And then the beauty of plaid is you can use that to get it straight and centered. And that's going to go over the top. So I'm going to go ahead and put some foam on the back of that. And lay that down. That's down. And so now we're just going to layer up all the pumpkins. So I glued everything straight on except for these two little guys up front and this flower. Everything else is straight down. So go ahead and get them where I want them. Put some glue behind them. All right. And these guys will go up front. And I am just going to put one foam square in the center of each so I can tuck all that stuff behind it. So this one is kind of up here. And this one's down a little bit further. So there's the pumpkins, and now we will tuck the leaves. So these leaves, I'm just going to cut right off the branch. And we'll discard the rest of it. All right, and then this one is going to get tucked back there. And then we have this guy. I'm going to go right in here. Let's see, I have a green and a yellow here. So it's there's really no right or wrong. I was just trying to break up some of the colors a little bit. So there's really whatever works for you. I'm actually going to tuck those a little different. All right. And the flowers. So this one was also popped up. Right down here. And then the other flower is kind of tucked in behind. So we'll do that. Okay. We have a leaf down here. And orange one back there. And then there's 3 flowers. I only used 2 on mine, but I think I'm going to use all of them today. So I'll put 1 flower there. I think I'll put 1 down here. That's where they are on the card. And then we have 1 more to put somewhere. I think I'm going to put 2 over here. Oops. All right. That card is finished. Okay, our next card is thank you. My gratitude is endless. And I apologize if you can hear the air conditioning in the back. It just was getting too warm in here. I'd turn it on, but it's kind of loud, so. All right, so you do have these pumpkin stems that are not in your little baggie. So you want to make sure you have 4 of those. You know what I don't see? I hope I didn't do that in all the kits. Oh no, there they are. Jeez, they're right there. Okay, we're good. So let's go ahead, and these are all cut out of colored paper. So we don't have to color anything for this one. Yay. All right, so on this, I did not bring it with me, but this blue paper is embossed. Used Tim Holtz, I think it's called woven linen or something like that. So you can see on my sample that I use sandpaper on it to bring up the white core. So if you want to do that, you can. I just used, I believe, a sanding block from the Dollar Tree. I just forgot to bring it down here for the video, so I don't think I have anything that will work in my little tool bag. So that's okay. We will just, I think I'm going to, I did add a little bit of ink to it, so I might do that. And then you'll be able to see the difference with and without it. So let's go ahead and put this card together. So this pumpkin paper will go down on the white card base. And then this is going to go in the center. It's a little bit more towards the top, probably about 3/4 of an inch from the top if you want to measure. If not, you can just eyeball it. I'm going to go right in the kind of the center of those pumpkins. All right. And then we have, so let's put all of our little goodies together and then we will. So you should have 3 red plaid pumpkins. So we need, those all need centers. So I'm just going to put a dot of glue on each one. And let's find our centers. And they are red. If you want, you can ink them up. I did ink up the pumpkins, so I forgot about that part. So I'm going to use the walnut stain. Well, let me do this first because I've already got the glue down. Just going to do the bottom half of that stem. I'm going to do that on all the red ones. So just like so. Just makes them look not so flat. That's a green one. I'm missing a red stem. It's got to be in here somewhere, but is it in my bag? No. Well, we'll just do without it. This, oh, duh. This one doesn't need a stem, Rachel, so that's why. So you only have 2 stems for the red. And then I'm just going to do the bottoms of the pumpkins as well. Maybe around the edge of that one too, because it's a little white. All right, so those are done. I'm going to do the same to these orange pumpkins. So we stamp these with an old Von Fawn gingham stamp set to give that same effect that that paper had. And then I don't think I did any more inking, so I'm going to put that away. Just give some dimension to the pumpkins. And let's go ahead and put the pumpkins down. So we have one in the center. Whoops. So we have one in the center, and this is closer to the bottom, and then these are tucked behind up higher, so this one appears to be in front. All right, so like so. All right, and then this one is popped up, so get a large foam square and do that. Okay. And then these 2 little pumpkins I also popped up. And then they're kind of over here to the side. Just going to put the inked edge on the bottom. All right. And then we'll go ahead and add their little stems as well. So dot there and there. Okay. And so now we're gonna layer up all of these little flowers and florals. And there's really no right or wrong way. You should have a picture in your kit of what I did, but you can, whatever is pleasing to your eye. So you should have 2 blue flowers, and then one of them, both of them have centers, white centers. So you have one of these big crazy shaped ones, and then you have a small, I know it was in here somewhere, there it is, this little white one. That's going to go there. And then you have this little daisy, and that's going to get this little white. Get my jewel picker, so much easier. Okay, like so. Okay. This one, we're not going to do anything to. These are the leaves. And then one's going to go there, and the other one's going to go on that one. So let me get some glue down. Wrong lid. Okay. It's a big one there. Little one. All right, so our flowers are ready. And there's the other leaf. I knew I was missing him. All right, so let's put this is gonna go kind of right here, so I'm just gonna go for it. It gets glued straight down. And then this one is next to it. All right. And then this is just kind of a filler in the back. So, and I'm going to tuck it here and then cover some things up with it. So this flower here is on foam. So I'm going to get a foam square on there. That one is going to be right in there. And then this flower is back in here, and the daisy. So I'm going to go ahead and put the daisy down. And I think on mine I may have popped up the daisy, but it's tedious because all you have is that little circle. So if you have a foam circle, that would work great, or you can cut down a square, but I'm just going to glue it down. And just in the center, and then the petals can raise up, that's fine. And then I'm going to tuck that little blue flower behind it. So, and then we have 4 leaves. So, one large leaf over here, coming out of this guy, which maybe I should have done before everything dried completely. There we go. And then also a small one. Go. And then we have, let's see, this little small one I think is coming out of the daisy back here, so that one. There we go. We have one larger one I'm going to put over on the left side, maybe coming out of here. Perfect. Oh, I don't want that leaf glued down. There we go. So I could go in and add some foam behind those leaves if I wanted those to stay where, you know, popped up the way I want them. All right. So this one's almost done. We're going to put the sentiment strip right there. And so I need to put, because my pumpkin's on foam, I'm going to put a piece of foam on each side and a little glue across the middle. And we will stick it on. Just get centered on there. That card is complete. All right, our next card, it's fall, y'all. And this one we're gonna have some more coloring to do. So we will start with that. Bring over my little whiteboard. And let's start with some, there's lots of brown. Let's start with brown. So all of our stems, we have the acorn, another stem, top of the acorn, poke out the holes on the acorn top. And then we have one brown leaf as well. Okay, so let's start with the dark brown. That's going to be all of the, make sure, I don't think I'm on camera here. Let me make sure I am. Okay, so we're going to start with the dark brown. That's going to be all of our stems, twigs, whatever we're going to call them. All right, and then we're going to do the acorn top. And we might need to come back on that, so I'm going to leave that out. I'm going to get the lighter of the browns, which is gathered twigs, and I'm going to do this leaf here. And then I'm going to do the whole acorn. And then what I'm going to do is go back in with the brown, the dark brown, the walnut stain, and I'm going to do the little stem and just add some shading at the bottom. All right, done with the brown. Okay, let's do, this is going to be green, and I think we just have one leaf, little leaf that's green, so we'll do those. Do aged mahogany, so on this big leaf here. All right. It looks like we have one small leaf that color as well. Okay. And fossilized amber for the remaining small leaf. And one more rusty hinge, and we're going to do this maple leaf here. All right. So that's it for the coloring. So let's go ahead, I'm going to put the top on the acorn. It's probably a good idea to let these dry a little bit. Distress oxide is a wet ink and then like reacts with water, so the glue can make it react. So if you want to wait on this step or use a heat tool to dry them, you could do that. I'm just going to push forward here. So this time we're going to put the right leaf on the right, or the right stem on the right leaf. So this time this maple leaf is going to get the straight stem. And now it lines up perfectly. And this piece goes on the, whoops, where'd it go? Try that again. Stem. All right, and this leaf, we'll get this stem. Okay, and then we'll add the 4 little leaves. to this. All right, and then we're going to leave those on that one this time. Okay, so now we can put the card together. So we will start with, I'm just going to clean my fingers off. They're dirty and inky and glue. Okay. All right, so let's put this yellow, red on one side, yellow on the other. The yellow up. Okay. And then I'm going to put this plaid onto the brown rectangle. Just going to get centered on there. Has a very thin border. And then I popped this piece up. So I have my backing pulled off. I'm going to center this onto the card. All right. And then we have this piece of vellum that's going to go on. So vellum's tricky. We got to figure out how to glue it down without being able to see it. So I'm going to lay it where I want it. And then my next step is going to be this, its foliole is going to go right here. So what I'm going to do is just add a little bit of glue, like so. And I'm going to put the foliole where I want it, and it hangs all the way to the edge. And I'm going to stick that down to the vellum, and then what I'm going to do, well, first I need to put some foam on the edge where it hangs off. But then I'm going to put adhesive behind that piece so it's hidden. And that will hold it on the top. Get it centered. Just hold that for a sec. Very good. All right, so that piece is down, and so now we're going to build up. So we have this stem here, and we have a leaf, and the other two are like so. And go ahead and put this one down. And these are all glued straight down. This one comes out about right in there. Like so. And then the acorn and this one are going to go on top. But while it's like this, I'm going to do the same thing. Add some adhesive behind those images so that I can get that adhesive down there. And then I'm going to put and then this little guy I do have popped up, so I'm going to do that. And he's going to cover up all that mess right there. Now if this bugs you like it's bugging me right now, you could put some adhesive down and try to hold it down. We do have these white pieces, these white gems that we're going to use, and I have them going this way. You could put them this way and then hide the adhesive behind. I'm going to go where the color is white. See if I can hide it there. There's a little bit right there. Now this glue dries clear, but where it's white, maybe we're not going to see it so much. Don't want to use too much. Okay. All right, I think that worked, but you can see where it's starting to bleed out right here and here, and so if we put a big glob in the corner, you would see that. So you could always get some more leaves or something and cover it up. But so I'm going to finish this card with, so we have a large gem and a small one up here. So large. Small. All right. And then we have two small. 1, 2, 3. All right, and that card is complete. Okay, our next card is Happy Birthday to You. And this is a big cover plate die from Hero Arts. So this one's going to go together rather quickly. So this leaf paper is going to go down first. What did I do with my glue? Oh, there it is. Okay, so we're going to put down this. And I cut it just a little shy, I think, so that you didn't have to worry about it sticking out. So if you see a little white, that's okay. It's going to get covered by the green anyway. Okay. And then this happy birthday to you is going to go right on top. Now, I pop mine up. That is a preference. There are lots of little spots to be covered up. If you do that, I am going to take the time to do that because I like the look of it. And I have these nice thin strips from Scrapbook Adhesives, and these work out great. So I have removed all the backing from all these little foam pieces on the back of my cover here, or my frame. And I'm actually going to start on this side, and I'm just going to line it up in the corner gently. And once I know those corners are lined up, I'm just going to let go and press. There it is. So once we have that piece down, let's add our leaves. So you should have 2 brown, 2 yellow with little polka dots, 2 green and 2 orange. And so I went from top left to bottom right and just kind of scattered them. I'm just gonna, so I don't have to think about it, I'm just gonna copy exactly what I did here in the picture. Actually, I had red, not green. Way to go, Rachel. Oh well, that's fine. I hope your kit is cut right. Sometimes I get extras. If it's not, I apologize. You can you can flip those green over and they're orange, so then you could have orange instead of green. I might take the opportunity to take those and maybe add some glitter or something to, you could also add, which I think I'm going to do on this last one, just to add some ink so it looks a little darker than the paper. If I can get some on there, that'll help a little. All right, so then let's see, right here on this P, I have a brown. And have another red, yellow, blue or the brown. I don't know my colors apparently. A little bit more on that one, I think. All right. So there's that, and I do apologize if I cut too many green and you didn't get your red. I mean, like I said, you could flip it over and do all orange. You could try to ink over the top, maybe make them brown or a darker green, or just leave them like I did, and it really looks fine. So that card is complete. Okay, we are closing in. We got 2 more cards to do, and this one will go together pretty quick. A really big thank you. So we are going to start by putting down this red plaid paper with the embossed sentiment. Make sure your card's opening the right way, and make sure your sentiment's not upside down. Okay. And then this piece, so let's make sure our leaf is going the right way. And you should have 4 pieces of twine. And then I'm going to use, you can use washi tape, you can use some Scotch tape. I'm going to use Scotch tape. I'm going to take 3 of those, and I'm going to wrap them around the bottom of my card. And really the way I like to do that normally, I do have a little, I forgot my tape gun, but I have this. So I'm going to maybe, I think this one's broken if I remember right. I'm going to put some tape runner like so on the sides near the bottom, and I'm going to start about 3/4 of an inch up, stick one down. I'm going to wrap it. Wrap it, tuck it behind, and then you can cut off that excess. I tried to give you plenty of room this time. And do another one, and I'm going to leave about 1/8 of an inch in between each one. So I'm going to do the next 2 together, like so, and then I'm going to tape those down while I'm here. That will just help ensure they don't go anywhere. I'm going to wrap those, so I'll do this one. So you want to pull it not too tight, but you don't want to bow this paper, but you don't want it to be too loose either. So all right, so those are on there. I'm going to snip off that excess and put another piece of tape down, like so. And you can use washi tape here, or you don't have to tape it down, but even score tape would be good. Okay, so then you have something that looks like that. And I'm going to go ahead and I popped this up so you get that shadow on the leaf. So I'm going to do that real quick. And I'm not going to put foam where those things stick out. That way I don't have a weird bump. And that's kind of also why I pop it up, to avoid that weird bump in the paper. So just like that. Okay, I have all the foam backing removed from the back of my floral paper, and I'm just going to center that onto the red. Okay. And there we go. And then you should have one remaining piece of this hemp cord. And I am going to go in, tuck it behind those 3 pieces we've already put on. And then I'm going to tie a knot and a bow. All right. Let's get it the way you want it. And cut off any excess, which you probably won't have much. So there you go. That card is completed. Okay, we have one final card here. Just a little bit of coloring, so we'll do that first. Let's see. Well, maybe not. Well, we don't have coloring to do. Yes, we do. Okay. We have some coloring in, just adding some ink to give some dimension. So let's start with a green. So we should have 3 of those leaves and 3 of their little veins. So I'm going to do, what is this? Peeled paint on the whole thing. And then, whoops, wrong way. Go with the green. There we go. Okay, so I have that on there, and then I think what I did was add a little bit of the Rustic Wilderness just on the tops. So the nice thing about these oxides is they lay on top of each other. So one will cover up the other. They're opaque. And so I felt like that was a little too bright. You could leave it. If you're happy with that, you could go with some brown, but I'm going to go back over it again with the peeled paint, and that just kind of, you know, blends those colors together, makes it darker than the actual peeled paint because now it has that different tint to it. So that's it on those, and then I'm going to ink up everything with a little bit of brown. So not everything, the other leaves. So we have the walnut stain, and actually I think I'm still going to use this because I'm going to kind of just like so, just around the edges of the leaf, and then I kind of blend it out into the center. So it looks like that. And then I'm going to do the same thing, but not with brown. It's all coming back to me. I use the aged mahogany. So I'll go down here so I don't pick any of that up. And I'm just going to go like so and lightly change the color of that. All right. And I mean, that's the beauty of fall leaves. You can go crazy with the colors. It's fun. So whatever you want to do here. I clean my fingers off so I don't get anything on my card base, because we do have a white card base here. All right, so let's start with that. So you should have 2 strips of wood paper, and we're going to put those one on the left edge, and then you can just trim the excess, and one on the right. Just flip that over and give those a trim. All right. And then this paper is going to go right in the center of that. All right. And now let's pull these little, we should have a red rectangle and then 4 rectangles with the orange like plaid print. So when I cut them out, I had 4 and cut them out like that. So they really should somewhat match up, which you can see that these do. I just got lucky. But we're gonna put leaves and stuff over it, so you don't have to fuss with that too much. I would just say, like, if your lines were really off like this way, you might want to mess with it, but this, it's really not that big of a deal. But what we're going to do is center them onto this red paper. So I'm going to start up here in the corner, and they all have that same border all the way around. So then I lost my, like that. Okay, and then like so. Oops. That little white bit's thrown me off in the center. Doesn't matter, it's going to be covered. All right, so once you get that piece done, that's going to go in the top center of your card. I do have mine popped up on foam. All right, so I am going to put that right up here at the top, centered. Perfect. And then we're going to layer up our leaves. So the big one in the center, like so, kind of turned a little bit. And I have them all glued straight down. So I'm just going to put a little glue in the center so I can tuck stuff behind it, because I do have those other leaves tucked behind. Same thing here. I'm just going to put some down here so I can tuck it in. And then I forgot to layer those up, so let's do that. Okay, so those are ready to go. And so I have one of them tucked in here, and then the other two are back here. So I'll just get them where I want them, and then I'll glue them in. Looks good. All right, so the leaves are on. I'm going to go back through and glue this down. And then we have one final piece, which is that won't stay down, the Thankful for You sentiment. And I did put that on. Why don't you want to stay down? I need something to put on it. There we go. I'm going to take this, put a little piece of foam on the back. And Thankful for You, it's going to go right across the center on the bottom. Perfect. All right, and that completes that card. Also completes this video. So I'll pull over the other cards that we made. Just to review. Again, if you're interested in this card class, you can go to our website from momentstomilestonez.com and search for our card kits there. This again is the Echo Park Fall Fever card kit. Thanks so much for watching, and we'll see you again next time.